All right, welcome back. So today we're going to go over 4.3, which is mass in the international system or SI system, which is basically kilograms, grams, milligrams, and then metric tons. Okay, so these conversions are on your sheet. Basically, we're just going to be doing some problems with them, and then eventually we're going to be converting back and forth between metric and imperial. So let's try number one together. It says, what is the total weight of a loaded truck if the truck weighs 2.6 tons and is loaded with 15 boxes that have a mass of 210 kilograms each? Give your answer in tons. Okay, so we have to find, well, we know the mass of the truck is already in tons. We don't have to change anything about that. Metric tons is always denoted by just a T, and imperial tons is usually TN, so this is the one we're using today. All right, and then the mass of the boxes, there's 15 of them, and they each weigh 210 kilograms, so I'm going to multiply that together. If we do that together, I think it's 3,150 kilograms. And then right here, we have to change this to tons. Okay, so if we look at our formula sheet or look back on the last page, 1 ton is 1,000 kilograms. So we just have to divide this by 1,000. So our mass of the boxes is actually 3.15 tons. So what's our total? We're going to add them up. So I take my mass of the truck, mass of the boxes, we're going to add those two numbers together, and I get a total of 5.75 tons. All right, so just one conversion, and then I'll add it together. Number two, Irene needs 1.6 kilograms of tomatoes to make her grandmother's recipe, and she has baskets of tomatoes that weigh these amounts, all in grams. How many more grams of tomatoes does she need? So basically, we just have to figure out how many grams she has, and then change it to kilograms. So if we add up all those numbers, 256 plus 452 plus 158 plus 320, I get a total of 1186 grams. Okay, and then we have to convert this to kilograms, so we're going to divide by 1,000. And so right now she has 1.186 kilograms. So how many more does she need? Well, she needs 1.6. So we're going to subtract that. So 1.6 minus 1.186. And then, so she basically needs about 0.4 kilograms. All right, we'll move right along. Number three. Salami sells for $1.79 for 100 grams. How much will $3.50 cost? So now we're back to kind of this cross-multiplying idea, which you'll see comes back a little bit in this unit. So $1.79 for 100 grams. How much for $3.50? All right, so first we'll multiply across and then divide by what's left over. So 350 times 179 divided by 100, and I get my answer is 627 for 350 grams. Now, does that make sense? If it's $1.79 for 100, we have about 3 times as many. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Okay, and now this is for 350. And then the next part says, what is the price per kilogram? So we go back to the beginning. We'll start with our same ratio here, 179 for 100 grams. And then how much for 1 kilogram? Now, 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, so I'm going to plug that in instead. Then it's in the same units, it'll work out nicely. So 1,000 times 179 divided by 100, and I get x is equal to 1790 per kilogram. All right, so when it looks like a cross-multiplying question, your goals are to get them in the same units. Okay, so we had them both in grams as opposed to plugging in the kilograms. And then make sure if your grams is on the denominator in the first part, make sure it's in the denominator at the second part. All right, so now converting between imperial and international SI, so between like kilograms and pounds. So if you look at the formula sheet, there are conversions there, so we're going to use them a little bit through these next few questions, and then we'll try some on our own. So number 4 says, a recipe calls for 180 grams of flour. How much is this in ounces? So we have to go from grams to ounces. And so if we look at our formula sheet, it says 1 ounce is 28.3 grams. So to go from grams to ounces, we have to times by 28.3. So that's all we have to do. 180 grams times 28.3. Oh, sorry, I'm going backwards here. So this is a good example why sometimes it's a little easier if you treat it like cross multiplying. So I actually have to divide, but here's how you know. So we're going to actually use this as our first fraction. 1 ounce is 28.3 grams equals, and then we have 180 grams. So we're going to put that on the bottom. And then we're trying to find the numerator. So now you can easily see it's 180 times 1, which is 180, divided by 28.3. Sorry, I almost did that backwards. So 180 divided by 28.3, and I get 6.36 ounces. Okay, so let's set the next one up cross multiplying just to make sure we don't make a mistake. So 7 pounds 12 ounces is the baby's weight at birth. How much did it weigh in grams? So right away, I'm going to change this to 1 unit. This pounds and ounces is going to make it difficult, so I'm going to change the pounds to ounces. So 7 pounds 12 ounces. I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply it by 16 because there's 16 pounds in an ounce, and I get 112 ounces plus this original 12. So this baby, if you change it to just ounces, weighs 124 ounces. Okay, so all I did was change this pounds to ounces and then add the 12. All right, how much does it weigh in grams? So now we have 1 unit, 124 ounces. We just have to change that to grams. So if you're stuck or messed up like I almost did on the last question, as to whether to multiply or divide, set it up with cross multiplying. So use our conversion factor that the formula sheet gives us, make that our first fraction. 1 ounce is 28.3 grams equals, and then we have ounces here, so the ounces are on the numerator. So 124 ounces over x, and now you see we times it. Okay, once you get the hang of it, you don't have to do that for every question, but if you're stuck as to which way to go, it's a little bit easier. And I get a final answer of not that. I get a final answer of 3,509.2 grams. And that makes sense because it'll be a couple kilogram baby. All right, last one here. On this page, Chen weighs 68 kilograms. How much does he weigh in pounds? So 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So to go from kilograms to pounds, you just times it by 2.2. So you could set up with cross multiplying, but this one's a little easier. And he is 149.6 pounds. All right, so just practice going back and forth with the different units. Let's do these last 2 questions here on this page, and then that'll be it. So, how much does 1 pound of beef cost if the butcher sells it $9.74 per kilogram? So basically you're trying to like set up these cross multiplying things in a way that you can solve for it. So 974 for 1 kilogram, that's what that price means. And so we have to figure out basically what this is saying is it's 974 for 2.2 pounds, right? Because 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. Make this 9 look more like a 9. And so we have to now figure out how much for 1. Okay, so right away, instead of just writing this, I change this immediately to pounds. And then now that it's in pounds, I can do a cross multiply. So 9 divided by 2.2, and I get x is equal to 4.43 per pound. So that's not the only way you could have done that, but that was kind of the way that jumped out at me. Last question here. Which is the better buy? 200 grams of coffee beans at $3.85 or 1 pound at $9.60? So we basically have to either change this grams to pounds or the pounds to grams. I'm going to change the pounds to grams, but it doesn't really matter. So I can buy for $3.85, I can buy 200 grams. Okay, and so I'm just going to remember that. That's the first one done for me. And then I have to figure out if this is how much it costs per pound, $9.60, how much is it going to cost for 200 grams? Okay, so this is where we're at here. So $9.60 for 1 pound. Now, I don't have a direct conversion to go from pounds to grams. So I have to go to kilograms first. Okay, so if you look at the formula sheet, this is the same as saying 960 for 0.4545 kilograms. Okay, so I change 1 pound into kilograms. Now I'm going to change it to grams. So 960 gets me 454.5 grams. So I'm so close, I'm in the right units. Now I have to figure out how many for 200 grams. So I'm going to set up the cross multiplying. 960 for 454.5 equals how much for 200? And the bottoms are both grams. So doing my cross multiplying and dividing, running out of room here, but I get the answer of 4.22 for the 200 grams. So I can either, my goodness, that was a good square. I can either buy 200 grams for 4.22, or if I go back, that was my, oops. Meant to do this. I can buy for 422, I get 200 grams, or for 385, I get 200 grams. So which one is the cheaper one? This first one would be the best option. All right, so I'll let you try the practice your skills section on your own. Try number 1 to 7. So try this, number 1 to 7, using the formula sheet, and then there will be a hand-in assignment when we come back. All right, good luck.